I don't even know if the mic's working now.
Why wouldn't it?
Hello? Everybody in? Looks like we are live.
Oh, good.
We're on the wide angle.
A little sketchy there for a second.
Is everybody in?
I'm not seeing Instagram.
Okay, we lost Instagram. It says I'm live, but I do not know what happened to that. I think I hit the wrong button for Instagram. All right, guys. I hope you guys are here. Hello, hello. Can you hear us? Welcome in. We had a mishap here. I pushed the wrong button. And I think we might have lost Instagram.
He really likes pushing buttons.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're the wrong ones.
So we appreciate you guys joining in with us. I am going to try to see if I can repair this. It says I'm live, though, on Instagram.
But I'm on Instagram, and it's not.
It's not. Okay. Let me see what I can do to repair Instagram.
Come in, Insta.
Remove. Add. Copy. I'm sorry, guys. I'm doing a little technical challenge here. I do not know what happened. I'm not that good at this stuff. This is why we need help.
We need some technology.
Now I don't even know where it's at. Because I have to hit go live. Anyways,
well,
I blew it. I messed up Instagram.
Way to really mess it up.
Mike can do Instagram. Well, you can't do it from there.
Nope.
So I'm so sorry. We got 115 people over here. We got 35 people here. Welcome in. What a sorry deal. I'm sorry, Instagram.
Oops.
And I planned this. So anyways, Texan transplanted in Colorado for now. Okay, welcome in. Hello from Illinois. Thanks, Jimmy.
It sucks here.
It sucks. Is it cold in Illinois?
It's trying to be cold here. It keeps
changing. we had some interesting weather this morning. It's like all of a sudden it's 37 degrees this morning. So want to say welcome in. We got quite a group over here on TikTok, almost 200 folks. So appreciate you guys joining us. So thank you. Yes, it's the bearded wonder here.
Tell him your catch name.
The bigger, better bearded barndo builder.
There it is.
There you go. So we've got catchphrases. We got Tennessee in the house, Virginia. See if you guys can say that at home. The bigger, better bearded barndo builder. Really just big, not because of fame or anything. It's big. So we appreciate you guys joining us tonight. I'm so sorry we lost Instagram, but we'll try to repost this video, this live.
Okay, yeah, I guess so.
From here. So for those of you that are going to miss it,
check out.
Hopefully you'll check out one of these other channels.
We got a Hernsberger in Anna, Texas. We know some other Hernsbergers, but they're not in Anna. I wonder if they're related.
No, I'm not thinking
spelled the
so.
Same? It is spelled the same. Never know.
I'm not thinking that.
Small world.
That name is easily repeated.
I know. That's what I'm saying. They got to be related.
So how's everybody doing tonight? Well, what we're going to be talking about is a couple things, really. We got some big announcements. We got DIY potential for Barndominium with Texas Best. And we're going to we pulling this out of kind of one of our other segments where we're talking about some of the advantages. So somebody got their well.
Hey.
All right. That's important. You got to have water.
Yeah, you can't finish the job if you don't have water. We've got one right now stalled out because we don't have water. I'm just kidding. We're still working, but water's important.
Yeah, we need water so that you can have toilets and things like that. That's a really important part of building a barndominium.
Yeah, and if you can't tap into your county's water line or whatever, and you got to do a well, that could take a lot of time waiting on them.
But squirrel, anyhow, what we're talking about tonight is the DIY potential. I've got this extra wide angle here tonight, so you guys are seeing us in rare form.
It's the camera. It's making me extra wide.
But anyhow, what we're going to talk about is the DIY potential. So,
okay, well, Instagram's a flop, so I'm not going to keep checking it.
Yeah, just the only thing I could do at this point would be to try to sit here and do this while you're talking. I could try to fix it.
Yeah, I don't know what happens to them though, if what they see whenever you do that.
I don't know.
Black screen, I think, because it seemed like the one time it went down on, and I could still see it on Instagram. It was just a black screen.
It's okay. It's okay.
Whatever.
We're gonna work it through.
Moving on.
It's very fragile. This whole setup that we got is very fragile. So hopefully everybody's doing well. We got Pottsboro, Texas in the house.
Well, they're coming there.
Oh, they're coming there from Hickory, North Carolina. We got Illinois, Tennessee. Thanks, Mike Dillon, for joining us. Virginia, Molly, appreciate you joining us. So we just thought our weather was bad here, but I bet a lot of you guys are having colder weather still. So
yeah, spring has not sprung everywhere.
So we got a good little group, and now that we got the real followers here on TikTok as well as our other group.
Our YouTube's on and Facebook, I see.
So we're talking about barndominiums. This is what we're looking to do. And one of the things that we kind of hit on, I think, which is different than something we've ever said before, is we are promoting the DIY option, right? And there's only one way that we can do that is for us to be involved in some degree.
Well, yeah, because if you're going to have a shell built, you're going to want a Texas best shell built.
Yeah. So we are doing these shells. We got quite a few of them in the works. We're excited about it actually because I don't feel like we could adequately promote any kind of DIY. It seemed like before because it's like, we're building, but
well, it's kind of hard to start something and then
to tell somebody to duplicate what we're doing, I feel like is a hard task on an individual level because of our systems and our everything that involves because of our hybrid system, because we have the welding crews, we have all of our fabricators, and not to say that some of these folks can't do that by themselves, but by the time you get your engineered foundation, you get all of these things done, it is a little more complex for somebody who's trying to say do it themselves. And but what we feel like is kind of cool is we can say, hey, if we can get the shell portion built, then all of these other things could be an option for people outside of, let's say, our turnkey build radius, and it becomes a pretty big coverage area actually that we're able to serve. Like we're working out in Tyler, Van, of course, Whitesboro, down in Riesel, south of Waco, McGregor, some of these areas. When it comes to trying to make it out to these territories, it's been difficult it's been more difficult to do a turnkey. All right.
Yes, I'm sorry. I was reading some comments.
What happened?
I was making sure what we were missing on the comments.
So that's essentially what we're talking about. So the shell only is really the best DIY option, I feel like, in the state of Texas for Texas Best.
Right, because you're going to get the quality of the main structure of your home, and so many people are really talented and have family that can help them. They want to put some sweat equity into their builds where they're maybe saving some money, things like that.
There's Riesel right there. Russell, what's up, man? I'm trying to come your way. See, I'm mentioning you right here. I know we're trying to get you guys worked out. Hey, Billy from Weatherford. We're working in Weatherford right now.
I want to see you pronounce that Washington City.
Washington City.
It's the top
I mean,
one.
I can say Washington City.
No, it's not a Washington City. It's
Wenatchee?
yeah.
Wenatchee? I don't. Wenatchee.
Wenatchee.
Wenatchee, Washington. Why has it got to be a W? Wenatchee, Washington. That's hard. I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but appreciate you joining us in there. Kirk.
Arkansas, Cold Spring, Texas.
Cold Spring, Texas.
Oh, David
In the
Lawrence, probably
house.
Duncanville.
Thanks, David, joining us in.
Virginia.
He said, I got it, Indian name. I couldn't repeat it if I had to.
We have a Waxahachie. Most people can't pronounce that.
Okay, Russell, I got the message. Appreciate that. Okay, so for those of you that did not watch our latest update on the shell-only option, right?
Which you should have.
Which you should have, because this has really been a good little buzz going on here for our channel for the urban barn house that we just posted. This is our project that we're doing in Joshua, Texas. Pretty sweet, and it's a single slope barndominium, which is sort of a popular new thing that people are doing.
I think it's kind of modern looking.
It's actually not our first time building a single slope. It's just the first time I think we've been showing it on the channel and on our socials. But it's a beautiful build. It's all burnished slate, which is similar to our hilltop barndominium. So these are some of the things that we are doing in the recent days. We've got the single slope barndominium. We just wanted to basically spend a little more time on the shell only. This is what we're trying to get the word out. We're trying to get people to understand. We feel like a lot of people understand what's included in our turnkeys, even though we're going to continually be re-explaining that. But on our shell onlys, from start to finish, that video that we just posted is an example of what a shell only would look like. I've been waiting so long to try to be able to show everybody because either I can't get there or they got the trades coming in before
hit it at the right
before I can get started.
Yeah.
So Curtis is asking, does a shell only include exterior electrical? It does not include any electrical. So this is all just our shell. It stops with the framing. So no trades when it comes to
the exception of the underground
trim out
plumbing. Yeah.
or rough in, with the exception of the underground plumbing for the house on the living side.
But it's all open inside. It hasn't been spray foamed yet, so an electrician could get in there and easily, if they were doing the inside electrical, they could add whatever you needed on the outside. Easy enough.
Right, exactly. And so these are all really cool options, I think, for people to have. For somebody who's like, man, I don't know, I don't want to pay, or I'm going to be self-performing, and I want to be able to do this and that, and have this flexibility to use my uncle over here and do that. I mean, this has been a great option, and I think a lot of people are taking advantage of it. So, this is a way that we can get in, get out, move on, go build somebody else a property. So it takes off of our lead time. At the same time, we still want to build turnkeys. Like, that's not what it's about. It's just meaning that we can serve some people that we wouldn't have normally served. And that's what it's about.
Right.
So the shell only is a great option.
He's asking again, do you want to pop that up there?
The conduit for future electric.
Well, there was one about that, yeah.
What about underground electric to the building? So Curtis, a lot of times the underground for electric. Now, if you needed conduit that goes for an island and things like that, we would definitely get the conduit put in when we poured the foundation. But when it comes to, and same with floor plugs, things of that nature. But when it comes to running any wiring, it would not include that. And we don't really use conduit like in the walls typically for anything other than when we're trying to run something under the slab. So that's what the conduit stuff is for. The shell only includes all of our engineered foundation. Number one, engineered foundation. The shell only includes the underground plumbing for our living quarters. The shell only includes the steel framing according to the plans. You still got to have a full set of plans based on what is going to be there, because we're going to send all this off for engineering. The shell only also includes the, like I said, all the steel framing. It includes the wood framing on the exterior, the way that we do it. All of our 2x6 studded exterior walls with our sheathing, so our substrate that we use for our wall system like zip. It also includes all of our exterior flashing. So like the installing of the windows, it includes the windows too. Like we're budgeting the windows in our shell. We're budgeting, I believe, the exterior doors. We're budgeting for the installation of the windows, all of the flashing techniques that we do on our installs. We're budgeting for all that included in the shop as well as the living quarters. So also the other thing that it includes is the interior framing. So when we say shell, I know it kind of leads you to think it's just the exterior, but our shell only includes the interior framing. So if you got a 2-story, if you got a single story, it's including those areas. And
it's a completion of the trades that we start.
Yeah. So the idea is that if I'm paying for my wood framer to come out to work on the house, I'm not going to just pay him to do this little bit of work. I'm going to pay him to come do the whole interior framing. I mean, it's kind of silly to, especially if it's 100 miles away, to just come
send
out.
him out there just to do a little.
And so that's our thought process on that. It's not really something we're going to negotiate as far as scope. We're going to do up to that point and then hand it over to the client. Now, doesn't mean that we couldn't help assist in some things, and we are doing that in some ways where we're trying to help people make sure that they make good decisions. So it's also including, I guess, to some degree, some collaboration on our part, because we're there kind of, we'll help you in some ways to make sure you're making good decisions. The land preparation, that's a good question. So our shell onlys also does usually budget for site work. So we do have some basic site work that is including the pad for where we're going to be building. Now, when we come out, we do a site visit. That's where we evaluate if there's additional site work that's needed before we go to actual contract. So that's something that I get involved in early on in the process.
Because if you're going to have to clear trees, or if you're going to have to bring in a ton of soil, per your engineered slab, that's all going to be basically a price per job kind of situation. If it's over what a normal spec would be.
So we missed a couple questions here. Let's take a couple questions.
Somebody, they said they want, Kathy, can I post that? I don't know how to post it. Kathy Scroggins. Can I ask a question about window framing? Sure. What kind of question you got? I think he kind of told some of it.
Yeah, just go ahead and ask the question.
Yeah.
We'll try to answer it. Give us the question. Alyn Robinson says, would you sell plans to a contractor? We're looking at the brown wood. to San Angelo area. We love the Sadler with the garage. Okay, the only thing I can tell you, there's a couple answers to this question, which we'll probably answer here in just a minute. But we don't actually have the Sadler plans, so that is a no-go at the current. Like we don't have. I'm sure there's lots of plans that have been inspired by our Sadler Barndominium, but that was another designer that isn't in our wheelhouse that did those plans. So you're going to have to kind of watch it really closely and just kind of glean from it to gain insight on your finishes.
Yeah, you can just watch the video like 5 times, sketch it out.
Yeah, be like, okay, you go over here and then you go over there. So these are some
Rewind.
of the things on certain builds where somebody has plans like we're not going to have these available. But that might be a good segue. We could talk about what's our big announcement. So do you want to?
Sure.
Or is it going to be big announcement?
I mean,
or is
it's
it just
not
going to be like an announcement?
So we are having some of our plans that we've already built available for purchase on our website. So that's a change.
Well, it's not currently on our website. So.
Oh, I'm sorry. What is it? I forgot what it's called. Do you have that?
No, I don't have a
link or
banner or anything, but we can do one.
Okay.
So that's the big announcement, guys, which is not really that big. We've been telling y'all forever
We're trying.
that we are trying to make some plans available.
Of the builds that we've already done that are on YouTube.
And so here's what's going on. We actually are going to be making these available for you guys as we can get them ready. So this is something that we've been working on. I'm going to put this on here. It's not going to take anything away from our existing collaborations with our friends.
Yeah, so Stacy Lynn is a amazing designer. She's got a lot of really cool options for plans, and she can definitely do a custom set with a 3D
But what this is,
walkthrough and all that.
but what this is some of the plans that you guys have seen on our channel. You'll be able to partake. You'll be able to kind of purchase these plans, and we'll have ways for you to edit them to be able to maybe make some changes if you want with these types of plans. So we don't want all that we're doing to be for naught. So we have so much interest, so many people that obviously when you're showcasing a project, this is what you're trying to do. So
You want to tell them what the site is on TikTok because they can't see your.
Oh,
tag.
I'm sorry. It's bestbarndoplans.com. This is the name of it. So we'll be sharing some of that. That's our big announcement. So you guys can glean from that. You can get some of that information. So that's the big announcement about the plans. So the idea is you could go onto you could get one of these plans. We could give you an instant quote off of one of those plans. And we're actually working on some things, giving you guys some insider stuff, but you'll be able to go to the plans and click, get a quote, and get an instant quote on that, whether you want a shell only or a turnkey. I think that would be pretty cool. So that's sort of what we're doing there. So hopefully
That's super cool.
you guys are going to be all about that. So what do we got here?
They really like the Sadler one.
Oh, that's what it is. You guys are upset
I saw
about
a thumbs
Sadler.
down. I was like, oh, they're mad at us.
Okay, Molly, we're working on it. I mean, we really are. We just don't currently have anything. Okay, we are working on trying. It just wasn't ours. So like they brought it to us. It was from somebody else, and so we're gonna see. And I'm not trying to necessarily promote another designer in the moment. So we're gonna see. We feel like there's some things that could have been better, but at the same time, I know it's a popular deal. So there's a lot of people that are using it. Do y'all build in Louisiana? No, we do not currently build in Louisiana.
We have
So-
a 60-mile turnkey radius from Red Oak, Texas, and up to 100-mile shell option, which is what we're talking about. So if you're within that 100-mile bubble around Red Oak, Texas, which is Dallas-Fort Worth area, if that helps you, because Texas is a big place. So people say,
yeah.
they think we build all over Texas because we are Texas best.
And so back to the shell only, the deal that we're talking about here, expected cost right now can be in the realm of $100 per square foot for shells only. Shellsonly.com. That's what we were talking about doing. Onlyshells.com. I think that's what we were talking about. But we're not doing it. So you guys can get your own URL if you want to do that. Mr. Be Happy, there's your segue. You can get on over to the domain right now and work on your next website. So
we have a comment from Chillaxin. They've asked a couple of times.
Chillaxin.
Would there be any issues with working on only a 0.88 acre lot? I don't see if you're.
The only issue is going to be depending on whatever the municipalities like your county or whatever require when it comes to septic. I think you would have to have city sewer, but otherwise, like in our region, in our area, an acre lot is going to require. I mean, you have to have a minimum of an acre lot to have a septic system, but they may be changing that. I've actually heard rules about that, but they may be changing that at some point in time. I don't know. But in Texas, that's been the thing for a long time. You have to have an acre lot for a septic system. So that would be, I feel like, the only issue. What steel building manufacturer do you recommend in the Ellis County? Well, currently we recommend Texas Best because we are manufacturing steel buildings. That's what we do. However, we're not selling bolt-up kits and stuff like that because it doesn't really fit our mold of the way that we build. But there's, of course, we have accounts at you guys with these thumb down.
Don't do thumbs down.
We have accounts with Mueller. We have accounts with Eagle Steel. We have accounts with. Well, we don't have an account with Metal Mart, but we do buy things there. We have an account with Central States. These are the companies that I recommend if you're going to go in and try to purchase something. So,
TikTok has a question. Can you build shell parts?
Can I build shell parts? What are you talking about? Just like pre-manufactured stuff, or what do you mean by that? Please elaborate. John? Thanks, Mr. Be Happy. Appreciate that. We just appreciate you guys all joining in. What is the average price per square foot build out? You're talking about on turnkeys. It ends up being anywhere from $175 to $200 a square foot. People always we get accused all the time of trying to hide this information, but it's really not. We always answer it when people ask. I don't put it on a tour video, okay? I don't say, this is $350,000 for this house, because there's a lot that goes into this. By the time you do change orders, by the time you do all this stuff, there's judgment involved, number one, on pricing. Number two, it's an individual's home, and it's their business. So a lot of their friends, families, all that kind of stuff are attached to it, and we're not trying to just
we're not selling their house.
Put it out there, and it's not for sale.
Yeah.
So thanks, XRP Rocks. Where do I get that hat? I'm glad you asked, because it's available on all of our stores when it comes to merch. If you go to our linktree.com/Texas Best Construction, I'll put the merch link up where you can find merch. And you can also find your critical resources link here. We will be putting our plans site up here. People have been asking us for years to sell plans.
Yeah.
So for us, it's a really big announcement that we have some plans that you can look at tonight. You can literally go there and look at these tonight. So that's a big deal for us because we're trying to put something in your hands no matter where you're at. It's a value thing. You know, we want to be able to help people. And I will say this, that this is going to be an improving process. Like we're going to be really digging into how we can communicate the engineering behind our hybrid buildings and the stuff that we are wanting to do. So, you agree with what Black Gables Barndo? What do you agree with? Maybe something I said. I appreciate it. Thank you. So that's kind of the gist of it, and we're just excited. Somebody says, do you prefer to frame windows with wood or metal? Thank you, Kathy. So windows, I prefer that there be wood around them. Mainly the substrate that we like to use, like the zip system. This is really beneficial to making sure that you have a good exit strategy for any flashing that's around the window. It enables us to get a good seal around that, creating a last line of defense or first line of defense, however you want to look at that, for window flashings. And so that's what it's about for us, is trying to make sure that we are going the extra mile. And if you'll watch our last video where we did on this urban barn house, where we have the one that we have, the single slope barndominium in Joshua, Texas, we actually talk about some of the window flashings on the shop areas where you got some of the steel mixed in with the wood. And I'm showing you some of these techniques that we're using and the evolution of that, how it's changed over time. So these are some of the reasons why we do that. We like to promote best practices so that people are making good decisions along the way. Molly says, like a ship,
They're
a
asking
Barndo
if we
kit.
can ship a Barndo kit.
We're not that far in the process of trying to ship out a whole house to somebody, but you know, the vision is there to try to at least try to communicate the engineering and the planning. We're talking with suppliers on ways that we might be able to do some things. So that's where we're at with it right now. We've got a lot that we want to do. We got a lot that we want to do and try to accomplish. So we hope to be offering some options with those kind of things in the upcoming days ahead. For the turnkey builds, do you have a showroom to pick out your finishes? Joy Jean Howard. I hope I said that right.
Well, currently we don't. We have, we office out of our Barndo that we have here on our property. We have plans to have another, like a spec home, but it's going to be an office for us as well, where people will be able to come in and look around. Currently, we don't have a showroom though.
Yeah, and our goal for even having a model spec would not be in the efforts for people to make selections, because there's so many better ways out there. Like we use a construction management app where most of this stuff is communicated now. So we're able to conduct business without everybody having to set up meetings, and that can be a stressful thing to do. Now, there are certain occasions where, like, you go to the granite yard, you go to pick out your countertops, you can pick your specific slab, and
Go pick out tile.
yeah, and so those are some of the things that you can expect. But when it comes to your basic things, it's more of a selection stuff online. That's where we try to do a lot of our selections. Hopefully that helps answer your question.
The next question is for you. I'll let you answer that one.
Oh, I got to answer this?
Yeah.
Rods, DIY. What brand of beard oil do you use, if any? What's your beard routine? Are we really going to discuss this?
Why not? Well, people want to know.
People want to know. Okay.
It's not that impressive though.
She's not impressed. So
No, I'm just saying your routine is not that impressive.
it's really not, guys. Like, I get in the shower, I wash my beard,
He
amongst
doesn't
other
really-
things, and then I get out and I do dry it. I do occasionally use some product with Maestros. They've been a longtime supporter for my collection,
Sending them.
and they'll send me products, and I do use it, and I like it. I like the beard wash and those kind of things. But I will say this, it's not because of any products. It's really, because I just groom the beard and blow dry it to make it straight. But it's not. It usually dries pretty straight, anyways. I just like to
It
comb.
just kind of flips
I like to
out.
comb it, so it's something I do in the morning time. Do you own any land or hold land in Texas for future builds? If not, where is the best place to purchase some land where you build? Well, we do own some land, but it's not for sale, and it's not something really we're looking to currently build on at the moment. We do have some potential plans on upcoming, what we call, it's not really going to be a subdivision. It is going to be kind of a
Community.
barndominium type.
That's some more big news.
It's more big news. We're just dropping the big news.
Give it all out.
Barndominium community. And so, yeah, potentially we do have some of these things that's going to come. It's not on a grand scale. It's not going to be,
Yeah, it'll be small.
it's not going to be hundreds of houses. It's, maybe 10, something like that. It's not going to be anything grandiose at this time. Like, we're not doing big things like that. We're not trying to swing for the moon.
Be a big land developer or anything.
Yeah, that's not what we're doing. Molly says, trust me, she's watched it 50 times. Okay.
Sadler build.
Thank you, Angel McCrary. I'm sorry I missed you today out on your property. I did meet with your husband. So if you have any more questions, let us know. I'm looking forward to meeting you as well, and hopefully doing y'all's project. That would be so much fun. I loved it. Life with Hell says, hey, y'all. Hey, y'all.
Hey.
They won't be big lots. These are gonna be smaller lots. So we don't, like I said, they're not gonna be big acreage. But we will let y'all know when it comes to building what we will be doing in regards to that. So anyways, we appreciate all the likes. We appreciate all this. We're just trying to get some of this information out to y'all when it comes to the shell only, because we want y'all to stay on board with those because we feel like it's a great option, number one, for people who from the framing stage would run with it. They could, do their selections on all their finishes without being encumbered with a builder. Now, what does that look like? How does it work on the financial side? Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, it's my understanding that, there's probably only certain lenders that will allow you to be your own general contractor. So there's some things around that you'd have to kind of work around, I guess, in finishing out your own. Some states allow you to do that, I think. But it would be a great way to save. But most people that are doing that are probably paying cash for their build, so they can.
Not everybody.
Well,
There's, some
don't
of our
have-
shell onlys are
maybe
funded
they have
through the
they have
banks. A lot of
family
them.
members that's a general contractor that they can kind of
Yeah.
work under.
And that's what I've seen folks are doing.
Yeah.
And there's ways around the madness, right? Like, and I'm sure the more you do stuff and the banks feel more comfortable and the rules and regulations, whatever's involved on that, become more regular. It becomes a little bit easier to do, kind of like building a barndominium. It wasn't always that easy to do. So now it's easy in our territory because it's happening all the time. So we got a big question here by Aaron Williams, taking up the whole page here, bro. But I put it up here so I can read it because it's a little bit bigger. Do you build as far south as Waxahachie? Yes, we do.
Yes.
The economy has pushed me back into shell only. Haven't heard you say if a septic is part of the shell only. If so, how much allowance is allowed? And mine is in place already. Also, I would like my garage roughly industrial and overbuilt. I have some heavy metal weld plates and 8x8 square sticks. Would you consider using these in the shop, Alan? Hooking me up with plans. Okay, awesome. You're already
That's
working
cool.
with Alan. Hey, that's the way to go. So
On a shell, we don't typically include a septic system. However, especially being that you're close, we could definitely, put that in. We
I
normally
think he's kind of hoping it's already included.
no, it's not. It's roughly
He's saying he's already got one.
about.
Isn't that what he said?
I don't think so. It's roughly about a $9,500 line item.
Oh yeah. So yeah, it can be anywhere from $7,000 to $9,000 currently for a standard septic system.
Yeah,
If that
depends
helps
on-
you give some budgets.
Waxahachie's not super rocky. I don't know.
Mr. Be Happy is ready to learn more. I mean, I need you to come teach me some more. I'm going to meet you. I'm going to meet up with you in Tyler. We're going to be doing some stuff out there. I have a feeling. So just need to give you a shout. What should I look for in a potential barndo property?
Well, first things first is
There you go.
knowing your area, the land that you're looking to purchase, is making sure that the city or the county or whatever jurisdiction you're in, making sure that they're going to let you do what you want to do. Red Oak they say they won't let you build a barndo, but we've built one in Red Oak before, so it was in the county though. But yeah, I mean they a lot of them that don't necessarily know what it is, but that would be the first thing. And also when you're figuring out your budget, if say city will allow you to do it, make sure and see what they're going to require, because they may have things that you have to include, maybe a 40% masonry on the exterior. And if that's the case, make sure and get that in your budget, because it could potentially, alter what you're able to do size-wise if you're having to pay to do all the things that they're requiring. So I think that would be the
Exactly.
main thing. Obviously, if you're really far out and you're having to get a well, that's going to be a big thing to have to add to your budget too. So I would check to see if your water is available. Or
Yeah,
if you're
so
gonna have to do the well.
utilities is a huge thing. Having a buildable spot on the land is a big thing. I mean, which is the same for any build. So it's not just barndominiums, it's for conventional framing. Of course, making sure if you're building in the city that you explore those options, have a set of plans already that you're looking to build. You could submit, make sure that it'll be okay for the developmental permit or whatever is required in the county or the areas where you're going to be building. So these are
Usually
the
counties
keys.
are pretty easy to work in.
These are the keys to make sure that you don't buy something and then,
Not be able to.
not be able to do what you want to do. Thanks, Veronica. Thank you. I'm glad you caught us live too. Give me just a second, Revolting Joe. I will answer that here in just a second. I got a question here, Mr. Curtis. For those of us who do have a septic already installed, assume underground plumbing includes connecting to existing. So what is included is a stub out from your rough end for the plumber. Now, if the plumber on a shell only was doing the whole job, then, that's one thing. But usually our septics actually install guys run that line that goes from the 2-foot stub out from the house all the way to the septic. And the septic is usually within 15, 20 foot maybe from where the house is as far as the main tank. And then there's an aerobic system that pumps water, the water out to really anywhere that you wanted to go from that point. So
You got a bunch of questions coming on TikTok that you'll have to touch on.
anyhow, so assume underground plumbing includes everything. Sean
Graham is.
says, come build for us in Graham. I'd love to if I can. Maybe a shell only. I don't know.
It's going to be pushing it.
She says no, maybe. I don't know. It's up to
It's going
Brandy.
to be, drum roll please, Graham, Texas
Do you-
is 143 miles.
Okay. Yeah.
Our max is 100. I mean, if it was 110, we might could swing it.
It would really depend on the project at that point. Like you're kind of really out of the ballpark, and two, which side of Graham and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we have some friends out that way.
Do you know any particular county in Texas that will not allow a barn type home?
I don't know of any. I think pretty much any county is going to be easy to work with. I don't think that's going to be an issue if you're in the county. It's going to be city. But we've had some pretty nice cities allow barndominiums, and like I
Let
said,
me-
they just
Let me answer
required
this.
stone or whatever on the outside.
EQ on TikTok says that our customer service never got back to them, tried twice, so decided to go somewhere else. It must not be in recent weeks, because we have somebody dedicated answering the phones, answering questions every day. And we also have, if you go to our link tree, which is in the bio, you could actually get most of the answers that you need through free downloads as well. But we are answering the phone, and I do have records through our Google as to when we miss any calls.
Yeah,
So
he
it's
can check
very
in.
rarely, and we're on like a 90+% ratio. Now, if you called us a couple years back,
When I was answering the phones,
then
It was probably my
it was
fault.
her fault.
Sorry.
So I'm just giving you guys that information.
thumbs
Okay.
down. Gosh.
You guys with the thumb down. There's better people checking in here tonight.
Matt.
Do you have to call a barndo, or can you call it something else? Molly says.
Yeah, I had somebody else ask if there was a certain.
No, you don't have to call it a barndo. I mean,
It's a custom home.
It's a custom home. It's really in how you want to present it. You can present it any way you want to the bank. You can present it any way you want to whoever you're talking to. You don't even have to call it a barndominium. I mean, there's people out there naming this stuff other things, which
Shouse.
maybe doesn't. I don't really care for the word shouse, but that's what people call it. They like calling it that.
Yeah.
But you could call it a metal home or a steel home, or maybe it's not all steel. Maybe it's wood.
Just custom home,
It's a
really.
barn home. Whatever you want to call it.
It's going to be a custom finished home. So it's not like, it shouldn't get clumped in with, some of the other styles of homes that maybe are modular or mobile. These are sturdy homes. I've had people call and say, hey, I'm really trying to decide if I want to do, a modular home, or if I want to do a barndo, like it's a permanent fixture. It's not going anywhere. So
What's up, XRP Rocks? Las Vegas Barndo community. That's right. You guys stay strong. Then our Isaac Garza here, he says, would you call it a post frame building? So I don't necessarily use the term because it gets misconstrued based on using wood and using
Post.
steel.
Yep.
So what I call it a steel post frame barndominium. So that's what I call it everything. This is a Schaus steel frame hybrid post frame barndominium.
say that 3 times
So
fast.
you got to get all the words in there.
Yeah.
But all of them kind of mean the same thing, and all of them are very different categories of style of construction. So
So you kind of already answered that.
back to this answering for Revolting Joe. Appreciate it if you're still here. If not, we'll answer it for everybody else. What is the proper term for a barndominium? This is really kind of what we just said.
That's what I
But
said. I think you pretty much answered that.
barndominium has a meaning to so many people for different ways. Like
Some people think it's just if it's got metal siding.
some people think if it's not a barndominium if you don't have an animals in it. Like if there's not animals under one side and then you have your living on the other, it's not a barndominium.
Your kids on one side and your
That is probably
Other kids on the other.
it's really decided by whoever, but I call it barndominium or bust. It seems like everybody wants a barndominium, no matter what, and so it's like people people that want to argue with me what a barndominium is all the time on social media, like or TikTok.
You got 2 questions, one on YouTube and one on TikTok.
And so it's constant. And I'm just like, well, you can call whatever you build a barndominium. Just do it, whatever. But I'm not sitting here controlling who calls it this or
My
who calls
house
it
identifies as
who calls it that.
a barndominium.
Yeah.
Well, somebody's asking the difference between a post frame and a barndominium or whatever. So it's basically what is the main structure.
Where is this?
Up. Right there. Difference between a barndominium and a post frame build, and then you've got one here that says, can you make them out of wood?
One at a time. Okay. You're
Basically the same.
what is the difference between a barndominium and a post frame? So in the South here in Texas, the only difference could be the style of construction. Like for us, heavily in the Texas area, we build steel frame buildings. So what the building I'm in right now is a steel frame barndominium home, hybrid construction. So these terms always come out in ways to describe. So we try to let people know that we're using steel. So most people that follow our channel know we're using steel. Now, your post frame construction is heavily known as being post frame, being wood posts that are spanning to achieve a length, including truss systems, which is similar to the steel that we're using. It's just a different form of being able to span. So you're using but you're using a different product to span across, say, a 40 or 50 foot area. Like I'm using a steel beam, steel I-beams to span, whereas on the post frame, they're using like a truss system, like a wood truss. So thanks for the heart right there.
Does that cancel out the thumbs down that we got?
Yeah,
earlier?
that totally cancels every thumbs down.
Well, I think the post frames are really super common up north. They're concerned about steel conducting, like making issues with the cold and all that. So I think that's mainly why that's so
Oklahoma Barndo says, I've been waiting an entire year for a trim carpentry to finish. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. I mean, I understand really. I know the struggle's real when sometimes you get caught into a scenario.
Well, yeah, because good people are hard to find, and you don't want to start over with a new worker on somebody's house.
Veronica says she's been infatuated with Barndos since it started. Finally got her husband on board. Well, congratulations. It's usually the husbands trying to get the wives on board. So, that's. And here's the question: is steel frame building better than post frame? I think this is going to be a continual question. Mm-hmm. But for me, it's like you have to look at what you're trying to accomplish. If I'm working in a certain scenario, I'm going to use a certain prototype or a certain type of materials. And so there are some examples where a wood post frame may be more desirable, especially like in certain regions. It's more prevalent up north, and for some reasons it's the condensation that can happen with steel. And it becomes a little more application involved when you're trying to build a steel building in the north area because the colder climates and condensation, because there's too much extreme differences of climate on the interior versus the outside. So,
and a post frame is a little more doable as far as a DIY too, right? I mean, you're not going to have all the.
It really depends. I mean, like if the organization was there for the steel frame and they could purchase a kit that actually was meant to be a house, then steel buildings could be an option. In especially all your warmer climates, it would be a great option. Right. So it really just depends on the direction you're trying to go and cost, right? Like, so if you can present two different costs, it may give you some of those answers. Thank you, Stephanie.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I just kind of started doing that and it just kind of stuck. So I'm not like a professional or anything, but I try.
The infamous flowers. In this case, you can buy yourself flowers if you hire Texas
If
Best.
you buy a barn door first.
You can buy yourself flowers. Okay, so do y'all service the entire state of Texas?
We do not.
You see that? You see that big Texas deal right there?
The self-service or the Texas.
We are only working in the territory where you see that brand.
Right there in the
No, we do not work all in Texas. It's just
we're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
the surrounding areas in the North Texas really area and some central, but it's within 100 miles of the Red Oak, Texas area. So that's the deal on that.
So do that next comment because that's a good one to.
There you go.
So how do you initiate the design and start process? So we actually are going to promote our little PDF that we have on our link tree. We have it's basically a resource for you. It's just a free PDF download that you can go grab, and it's got so much information on it, just how to get started, from finding a designer, from, picking a builder and all the questions to ask. There's just a lot of information on there. There's actual banks and different lenders listed on there that can maybe at least get you in the right direction on getting your financing. So lots of information on that free PDF if you'll go to the linktree.com/Texas Best Construction, and it's in the resource section.
Yes. Yes, and for those of you that are just now joining, this is a new announcement we did tonight. This bestbarndoplans.com. Please check it out for your options on
A lot of our previous builds and current builds.
Yep, check them out. So that's something that we're going to continue to tell you guys about. That's a new thing. So we hope you will utilize that if you're looking to build. We're doing things that's hopefully going to make steps easier. And not only that, you can watch the tour video of a certain layout if you want, and you can make it your own. We're going to make it possible for you to make edits. Well, not you to edit, but for you to make changes if you want to. So all of that coming up. Aaron has a lot of questions, he said. Let me make sure I didn't miss another one here. Absolutely, Laura, I'm coming out. Thank you. Looking forward to it. So, going to be a great project. Molly says, how far north do you recommend? I'm
100 miles from Red Oak.
Yeah. After 100 miles, like, you guys can do whatever you want.
You're
No.
it's free game.
No, we are positive, number one, that you could build a steel frame building anywhere. It just means different applications. As far as what's better, obviously it's going to be better for you to choose somebody who's more routinely building a certain product in your area. So that's more important to me, that you choose a builder over those in those areas that have a system building something else. Don't try to get somebody to do something new and then be surprised and then be disappointed.
Yeah.
So it's better, I feel like, if somebody's building post frame heavily in your area, like wood frame buildings, then and they're a good contractor, then go with them. I mean, that's really what it's about. Like, we just so happen to be in this area, and we're building this hybrid product, which we feel like is very strong. We feel like it has a lot of advantages to the style and the way that we build. So this has been why we do what we do. And we're not here to blackball other people that do something different. But in our territory, there's a reason why it's more prevalent in our area, which is mainly because the materials are readily available. We have plants, manufacture steel comes from Mexico. There's a lot of these kind of things that are more readily in our favor, like we have it right here. Not saying that steel is cheap, but it's just, in some ways it's convenient to go down the street and get it, and get started. And that's what it's about for me. I built a system that we were able to do that. And I mean, if I was going to start steel framing something tomorrow, I would have to wait a while, but I could go and tell them what I want. They would load it on the trailer. I could have it there on the job tomorrow. That's an advantage for me.
Instead of having to like pre-order something.
Yeah. And so that's a lot of the reasons why we do what we do on the routine. So hopefully that helps answer that question. How does a 2-story floor plan affect the cost estimating when calculating total cost under roof?
So it's not going to really differentiate the second story versus the first. You're going to, on our cost calculator, which is on the link tree and our website as well, it'll give you the shell option or the turnkey. So you're just going to plug in your square footages. There's some other information that it's going to ask you for, but it doesn't, I don't think it even asks if it's a 2-story. That cost calculator is based on square footage. And so, if you were to submit that, it could potentially change a hair when we do a final quote for you, based on, your stairs. What you might say you had a grand staircase, that's going to add some cost to your
Stairs
build.
cost money.
Yeah.
I mean, they really do. But at the end of the day,
It's finished and
it's minute. I mean, you're paying for square footage. Your electrician's charging per square foot. It really doesn't matter if it's upstairs or downstairs.
your flooring is a square footage.
Your light fixtures don't cost any less,
Your heating and cooling.
whether it's upstairs or downstairs. So a lot of these things are really not differing. But the things that are a little bit differing, I mean, it's like for us, lumber prices, have adjusted a little bit, but they're still not. It's like we're not back to where we were when we were talking 2020 and before that, when we were paying, a lot less money for lumber. So currently it's not any different for the most part. So it gets pretty much figured the same way. The idea is, you're not taking up as much territory, but you still have added insulation. You got all these things. So let's get to Aaron here. Long-winded, have a million questions. On the topic of safe room vault, roughly a 6x12, would you do concrete or weld up, possibly a prefab? For a safe room in a house, honestly, I've had people do multiple things. We've had them bring in steel encased, what do you call them? Containers. I don't know what you call it. Like a safe,
or something, yeah.
like a capsule. Yeah, like what Brandy said. So we've had people do that, and then we've had people order larger deals where we built out and poured a slab and made it to where it could be set into place before we finished the exterior. On our Whitney farm style build, we did that. And then
The Tundra had one in the garage.
yeah, and there's the bolt down kind ones that you see as you go into your lumber yard. I mean, your say Home Depot, they have some that are capsule top deals, and we've had people put those in. We didn't put them in.
The Poolville has one in a closet.
Yeah, we incorporated that into a closet for our Poolville Barndominium, which actually hasn't been out on our channel yet.
Oh, it isn't.
But we have what I would prefer people, I feel like, do is probably do like if you want to incorporate it into your design, I would recommend doing some split, like not split face, but some masonry block, like some CMU and concrete fill that for the durability and the protection, and then create the protection over top of that. That way you have the wall protection, and it's really solid, like, and protective. So I like the idea of doing something like that because you could be a little more elaborate with how you design it. And I feel like, it's a lot of coordination to try to get a big structure like that inside a building. So I don't know. That's my 2 cents on it. And I've had people do it, but we like to build it with CMU. That's what I would like to do.
Or you could do a basement,
And
like our Whitesboro.
we could technically weld something up and around it and heavily protect it with steel and all that. But I haven't seen anybody do anything particularly like that. But yeah, or you could do like our black gold barndominium and just do a
basement.
full blown bunker basement. So somebody says, if you've already answered this, can you build one in Texas?
What's the fastest you can build one? Nothing is fast.
We're not.
Even fast food isn't fast. They send you to around the building and park and bring it to you later.
I don't talk fast. I don't run fast anymore. I really tried to do that the other day, and I hurt my knee.
Hurt yourself.
My son is a fast runner, but I'm not a fast talker.
Fix that.
You know, and so that's. But our goal is that once we start framing up the construction, it can take anywhere from 7 to 10 months. But you know, for me, I feel like it's a misconception that barndominiums are something that's just going to happen overnight. Like, that's a lie. That's really a lie.
No, because you have the same components inside.
When you're hiring a builder who lives 100,000 miles away, that's what I was going to say. When you're hiring a builder who lives 100 miles away, the logistics involved, the time that it takes, the coordination that it takes is
it's not a quick process.
But as far as we're concerned,
and for the most part, the houses that we're building, they're custom. So we've never built them before. It's not like we're building 18 of the same houses in the same neighborhood.
You got to be careful saying that the houses are custom, because everybody hangs you on those words, saying that you said it was custom. Everything's going to be special, you know.
Well, if it hadn't been built before, I think it's pretty custom.
Well, I know,
Definitely
but
not
all I'm trying to say
cutter.
is it's custom in the sense that it's a custom plan for, usually it's a custom plan for your area. It's not.
Maybe you designed it or even had it made changes to make it what you're wanting.
But the finishes are typical standard from what we provide, which we could get into all that, what standard finish outs are, but that's a whole nother long.
And change orders add time to your project.
That's a whole nother long deal.
Yeah.
So what's your advice as far as getting your builds for another state? Okay, before she gives you like all of the stuff that she's been telling everybody for years, let me just put it in there. We've put a pre-planning strategy on our link tree where there's questions you can ask for your builder. You can ask, like we put some good work in for you guys, that if you'll go download the pre-planning strategy on our link tree, which I'll put it up again here right now, just so you'll have it. If you'll go here and download our free PDF file where you can download this pre-planning strategy, we give you a lot of information when it comes to your builder on how to find a builder. So I'm going to just send you over there now. If you want to give them some quick tips, go ahead.
Yeah, and if you're on Facebook, we always try to, we have a Building Barndominiums Facebook group. It's got 350,000 people on it, something like that.
I don't know.
So there's people from all over on that page. I see people on there all the time asking for barndominium builders in specific areas. So it would be a really good resource for you to join that group, just so that you can, people are posting pictures, they're posting ideas, they're asking questions that may spark, a question for you with your builder. But finding a builder is definitely something that you can, potentially find in that group.
Yeah. Okay.
I think
What is the next step after purchasing land, financing, utilities, and plans? I mean, you're going to want to download that. If you go to the link in our bio, Celeste, you're going to want to download that free download, but we'll talk about it. Financing, utilities, and plans.
Yeah, so on that pre-planning strategies, there's list of lenders, but they're in our area. So if you're in a different area, you may have to kind of go a different direction, but those lenders may even be able to help get you connected to a lender that is in your area. But you could look for small hometown banks that are close to your build are going to be your probably your best bet to start with, because they're going to be a little more lenient and definitely easier to work with on getting a construction loan. So that would be for sure the first step on your financing. As far as plans, you know, if you want to look at our bestbarndoplans.com, we've got some of our previous builds, but you can have a custom set drawn up, and utilities are going to be different in the different areas. You would just need to find out who services those, your property.
Okay. You got it?
I think so. Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Yeah, Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
I love TikTok names on
Says,
here. It's
I want to
funny.
grow a cool beard, and do you build or sell kits? So
He does.
we do build, but we don't
he doesn't
build
sell-
kits.
He
So
doesn't sell beards.
we don't sell kits, and we don't build kits. So our stuff is all, we have a manufacturing, like a fabricating, I'm saying manufacturing, we have a fabricating team where we fabricate on site and erect the steel on site and put all this stuff together. So the way that we build is with a set of blueprints and some materials. So that's the way that we're currently building. Now we hope to be able to provide options for people that are not in our territory, that they are interested in building this hybrid barndominium. So we're really, really kind of working on that. That's going to be next. Like it took me 2 to 3 years to get plans for sale. So this has been a really long process, but
We've been busy.
and it's not like it was all that complicated when we finally did it, but that is available now. You can go to our site for plans, and we'll be putting that on the link tree tonight. I'll be putting it on there tonight, but it's bestbarndoplans.com. bestbarndoplans.com. You guys can check that out, write it down, because on TikTok, this will go away. We will actually repost this. Will be reposted on our YouTube channel. You can watch this in length. You can also watch it in length on Facebook. And we are going to repost it on Instagram. I don't think I can post a full-length video like this. I'm going to try to post it on Instagram. I don't think I can post it like this on TikTok. So I think the most I can post here is like 10 minutes. So anyways, what else? Great stream and info. Thank you, Domingo. Appreciate that. We're excited to be with y'all as usual. So this has been a lot of fun. If you guys have any more questions, listen, we're coming back. We come back every Tuesday, and we're doing these lives. At some point in time, we may do some pop-ins or some
Guest.
have some guests on. So you guys let us know in the comments below what kind of guests you would like to see on this show.
He started talking to me.
No. But these are things that we're excited about, continuing the conversation, help you guys, bring you information. And as long as y'all keep coming back, I guess we'll keep coming back. That's kind of what this is all about, is to make information available. So we're blessed to have all the opportunities we do in the business that we do.
Because it's actually really hard, as many platforms as we're posting on and promoting on, to catch all of the questions.
Yeah.
In real time. We may see them, months later, and it's like, oh, sorry. And then, you kind of have to try to post an answer, and they may have a follow-up question. And so it's kind of hard to do. So that's what's really cool about doing the lives is there's interaction at least.
Yeah. And we hope that we didn't miss some of y'all's questions. I know there is a lot that sometimes that are scrolling through, and we've missed your questions, but on our videos, put a comment. We are trying to answer comments as much as possible. I'm not that good on catching all the DM messages. Like, I get a lot of messages through Instagram, Facebook. We'd have some auto replies, which I hate having to have auto replies on some of that. but even on like TikTok, I miss a lot of messages. But if you comment on a video, those are the ones usually we're looking at, because we're trying to drive analytics on the videos to help promote the channel. So that's normally where we spend most of the time focusing. But if it's something to do with building a barndominium, if it's something to do with your area, your territory, please go to our link tree where you can find all of our critical resources at linktree.com/Texas Best Construction. And that's where you can find a lot of this information on the routine. And we're constantly prioritizing the information that you get there. So you'll find our website there, our YouTube channel, our Facebook channel, our
Barndo cost calculator.
our cost calculator,
Yeah.
which is one of the most popular things on there. It's all resourced right there at your fingertips. Click a button and go right where you need. You can find our merch. You can find hats like this, which is really nice, if I don't say so myself. This is the Richardson. I can't remember if it's the 168 or what it is, but I'll give you guys a kind of look at it. This is the Richardson. This is nice. Let's see, 168, Richardson 168. So I enjoy
He has a whole
all
hat
of our
collection.
Texas Best gear. We like to put this stuff out, and we need to sell some of that stuff just to get it out of my storage. So, and
Yeah, we
because
do.
we actually want to do more. We want to keep making.
Well, there's not a lot of people out there doing Barndo merch, so
Well,
you can get it here.
yeah, you can get all your merch here. You can get your plans here. You can get your build here. You can get your Barndo here,
And your flower
and you can
arrangement.
get your flowers here.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening here at Texas Best, your one-stop shop for barndominiums.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I think if you guys have any more questions, let's
Looks like
see.
there was a
Take
couple.
more, and then we're going to
Let you guys.
thank you, Molly.
Get to dinner.
Appreciate that. Aaron says, got a decent fireplace guy. Yeah, we got it. We got a. Oh, Javier's. Yeah, I like Javier's, Aaron. So appreciate that. Okay. We got a couple more questions. You guys hang tight. We normally go a little bit longer than this anyway, so we're going to answer a couple more questions. You guys are moving a little bit slower tonight, so
It's
I was
Tuesday.
fixing to close this thing out. All right, go ahead, Brandy.
Okay, I want to add an 8-foot door to my barndo, but my girt would need to be cut to frame out the door. How would you tackle this? Yeah, Josh, how would you tackle it?
Well, Bishop, so your girt, for us, like our wall systems are wood framed, like 2x6 studded walls. So when it comes to our door frames, they're typical to standard home frame when it comes to that. But cutting the frame for a girt, if you're talking about steel frame, then I would take some additional steel-like material, either receiver channel, and you would frame that out. I don't know that I can fully answer all that right here because I don't want to get into talking materials, and because a lot of the people that are on here won't know what we're talking about anyways. So for me, hopefully that helps answer your question. Also, if it's post frame, I don't know if you're using steel building. I don't know if you're using wood frame, but that would make a difference as to what exactly you would do.
There you go.
Oh, there he is. Red iron framed with wood frame interior. So like the hybrid system, the way that we're building is not including red frame on the wall systems the way we're building. This is not how we normally do it because we don't like the bigger walls. Now, if you've got that and it's an engineered metal building that you're building on the interior, then, you know, you're going to have to take that up on the engineering side, but it's going to take some modification with the welding, or it could be screwed together if you use like receiver channel or something to create that opening. So there's ways to do it. It's just really without me being there and seeing your existing situation, it's gonna be hard for me to kind of walk you through it.
Right.
I got it. So can we get approved for a barndominium with a new construction loan?
Yes, Anna on TikTok, you definitely can. We do it every day.
Yes, you can, Anna.
Reach out to your like a local bank, a small town local bank is going to be your easiest to do a construction loan. The big name banks are probably not probably, they're not going to do a construction loan for you. So the smaller banks are going to be easier accessible. They're going to be easier to deal with, and definitely would give them a shout to see if they would potentially do your interim construction loan.
So you're saying that the smaller banks pay the most money?
Well,
I'm
the
just
smaller
kidding.
banks are interested in doing
It's a joke.
the odd jobs. So going through a credit union, I'm trying to think. We've used credit unions before, so that should not be an issue. Check with them and just see. Worst case scenario, you might use another bank for your construction loan and then
she
get the
said
financing.
she's going through a credit union.
I know, that's what I saw. We've used credit unions before with no problem. So, I mean, I'm sure they're all a little different, but I would definitely see. They should be able to help you, I would think.
Okay, hopefully that helps out.
You get a VA loan for land.
Can you get a VA loan for a land and Barndo package?
So for us, we do not deal directly with the VA. However, we have done numerous builds that were going to be funded by the VA. So we worked with a small town local lender to do our construction loan. And so they worked with us. They funded the project through the duration of the build. And then at the end, the VA took over the long-term mortgage on the loan. So, I mean, that's the way, to me, that's the easiest way to do it. And that's how I would suggest working with the VA, because it's a little harder to work with them directly because there's a lot of hoops they want you to jump through, and most people don't want to mess with doing it. So that's the easiest way, is get pretty much a third party involved in the lending side.
Amber
Hello,
Helm just
Amber.
logged on here on the TikTok.
Call me.
So finish contractor recommendations for your shell build areas in Pottsboro. I couldn't really do that in the moment, so I don't have that kind of. It's not like even so much that I'm hunting for you to have a finished contractor when I do a shell only. A lot of these folks are vetting out the other contractor.
We can definitely do
We may definitely have some recommendations a little farther down the road. I just don't currently. So, and it's not like I just don't want to vouch for anybody either, because it's a tough climate sometimes.
Celeste Martinez on TikTok is asking, is at 1,800 square foot achievable for $200,000?
Achievable.
$200,000 or under, not including land. Well, let's just put the handy dandy calculator, which we have a Barndo cost calculator that you can play around with and get, adjust the square footages and kind of get an idea. But if we were to,
it's $100 a square foot about.
if it's all living times 1,800, it's north of 300.
What are you trying?
I'm trying to answer 1,800 square foot of living.
For what?
For a Barndo.
For what kind of, like a finished or turnkey?
For
or
a turnkey,
shell?
you're not gonna get that much square footage for 200,000 or less.
What kind of material do you recommend closer to the ocean? I guess that's a question for me, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think you're going to want bright colors. No, going close to the ocean, I would recommend galvanized. You can actually, if you're doing steel, so galvanized is what I would recommend on that. close to the ocean. I think obviously you're going to want a engineered structure. Thank you, OJ. We're going to try to keep smiling over here. So, hi everyone from Arizona. Hey Scott, thanks for coming in. Oh, you said psych. Okay. What is this, 1995? I mean,
Like,
oh my goodness.
oh gosh.
What is the best insulation that we recommend? So, depends on the application. So, this is what's important to know about insulation. In my application, where I'm dealing with steel and we're trying to make sure that we don't have any issues with condensation or these kind of things, we believe that the spray foam is our best solution. Even some of the vendors that sell other insulation would agree that the spray foam is a good option for us. Now, when you're dealing in other types of products where maybe you're not dealing with steel, you could do other products. You could use rock wool. You could use, even the like a polyiso. You could use all these other types of products, XPS. Some of these other products that are used in certain other applications, like on the exterior. You could have exterior insulation. LP has a product as well that you could use for an exterior insulation. Zip has an exterior product you could use for insulation, like the Zip R sheathing. So those are some of the things that you can do. For us, we use closed cell direct to metal. We use a portion of closed cell, then we go to an open cell on top of that, like on our roof lines. And so you'll have anywhere from 5 to 6 inches of spray foam on the roof lines. Then we have our walls where we're filling the voids in the walls, which are primary wood construction, is where we use open cell spray foam in the walls. So that's the difference of how we apply. And in our shop areas where we're going straight to metal, we use closed cell foam. So now this is not on a shell only, obviously, because this is where we started the conversation. Talking about shell only, we don't do insulation. So this is usually what happens. We start a topic and it gets hijacked with a bunch of questions, and it's really not related to the subject title. So for those that are following along from the subject title, where we're saying what are the potentials for DIY, then, this is it. That's it. So.
Hey, from Palmer. Got some Palmer.
Do we
peeps
cover
on here.
Pensacola, Florida?
We do not. We are just in Dallas-Fort Worth area. So we do not travel to Florida unless it's for vacation.
Which we did go last year to Florida for that. And so Florida's great for place to vacate.
Yeah.
But and it's a good place to build barndominiums too. So I don't want y'all to think that. I like Florida. I have friends that live there, and we're not collaborating with anybody in that area to build barndominiums. But if you're in Florida, and I know we have some folks that are doing it there and that have reached out, so we're trying to talk to some folks in those areas. So.
Jason on TikTok, we do not come to Paris, Texas, but we do go to Italy, Texas.
Are you sure? Like a shell
sure.
only? Paris?
I'll double check for you.
We're going to Italy.
I know. But
we're working in Italy.
Paris.
That's another direction.
My niece's name is Paris.
Do you drawing site specifics for an E-structure? Okay, let me look.
Paris is 130 miles. So unless it's on the south side of Paris.
Okay. I got another question here. Thanks, Mr. Be Happy. Appreciate the message. Thank you. Bow Hunter. Hi from Palmer. Oh, you already got him. What R value does spray foam end up being? That's a good question. And I'm going to be wrong on my remembering this, but I feel like it's an R factor of like, one is like a 0.4, one is like a 0.5 or 6, I want to say, or maybe one's a 0.3 something per inch. I think the open cell is a 0.3 something per inch, and the other one's a high 4 or low 5 R factor. I'd have to, I normally just look it up because I don't remember some of these things right off the top of my head. All that to say this, we're achieving like an R20 something on our exterior walls. It's like around R20. That's what we're achieving. So.
I got a couple of questions over there. You have to scroll down now.
Do what?
There's a couple of questions on TikTok. Scroll down. No, go down. There, that one.
What are the benefits to having a barndominium instead of a regular build?
So there's a lot of benefits. Some of the main benefits is going to be the upkeep on the exterior.
Maintenance.
The maintenance, yeah. You're not going to have to, replace siding and rotten wood and repaint every year. So that's definitely helpful. The inside spans, you can have a very large vaulted ceiling and not have all the trusses going across.
We actually just talked about this last week, but I'm going to give you all the rundown. So these are the advantages to building barndominium versus a conventional frame. Number one is the energy efficiency. The metal structure and open design that a barndominium can lend itself for energy efficiency is because of your insulation and your build practices, potentially resulting in lower heating and cooling bills. This is some of the things that we achieve, and it can be some of the values that you can obtain. Number two is your durability. I actually just have this here right here, so I'm going to share it with you. The steel material used is typically resistant to weather, pests, and wear and tear, leading to lower maintenance costs over time. So number one is energy efficiency. Number two is durability. Number three, the advantage to building a barndominium is less expensive materials. And this wouldn't be something I would have ever normally said. I feel like one of the biggest misconceptions, and I kind of put this out a little bit. I didn't really give the answer, but put this out on Instagram. But some of the biggest misconceptions is cost.
It's so much cheaper.
Is people that think it's cheaper, and there's a misconception that people think it's more expensive. There's a misconception that people think that building a barndominium cannot be financed and can't get insurance. So those are some of the top four that I hear all the time that are just not true.
False.
So it's really false. It really just depends on what you're building, and you got to compare what you can achieve conventionally versus what you can achieve with a barndominium. It's like one is not all bad, one is not all good. It really depends on you, your preference, what you're trying to build. So less expensive materials, how we fall into this category is primarily because of the exterior surfaces that we're using for the outside. This is why we're using less expensive materials. It's metal panel siding, which is cheaper than probably any other material you could use on the exterior, and it's less maintenance involved. So you don't have the cost associated with installing siding and having to paint it and maintain that. That siding is way more expensive than it would be to run these panels. So that is some of the materials that we're using there. Now we use a 26 gauge steel panels on everything, our soffits, our wall panels, our roof panels. Anytime we run any metal, it's 26 gauge for Texas Best. So that's what we're doing. So but still, it's still cheaper than if you did obviously brick, stone, siding, having to paint, all these kind of things. Any of these other structures, EFIS, stucco, any of this is way cheaper than that. vinyl siding, really, which I hope I never have to be involved on another vinyl siding project in my life. I'm not knocking it. I think there's some beautiful stuff out there, but I just don't want to do it no more. And I used to do some of that stuff up north when I was in the hailstorm business, and we did a lot of it. We also did aluminum siding, which I think is more expensive than what we're doing here with these panels. Okay, so number 4 is flexible design. You're building a free span area where you can have a lot of flexibility on the interior. So this is another good advantage to why you would build a barndominium. Number 5 is multifunctional use. And that is the versatility that it gives you when you build a barndominium. You can have large open workshops, garages, eliminate the need for a separate building. You can incorporate your living space with these things, which is unique. Most people aren't going to build a conventional frame house and have a 2,000 square foot shop attached. So it's not typical, right? So those are some of the advantages on building a barndominium. Number 6 is your unique style, which kind of goes in hand with the multifunction, but they can potentially have higher resale due to their unique curb appeal and functionality, and the trend. So these are some of the advantages of building a barndominium. And lastly is brings us to this last one. We started that first last time. Now we're ending it with this. Is the DIY potential for a shell-only option. So there's no conventional frame builders that are probably going to say, hey, we'll just build you all of the outside and your wood framing, and then we'll let you finish it. That's not typical for a conventional frame builder. So we are given an option here that I don't know that exists in most common scenarios. So that is the real advantage for building a barndominium with Texas Best, is the DIY potential. You can still do DIY, and you can hire Texas Best to build. So that's with us, and we're building that great hybrid system, that great foundation, all of the things that we do on our exterior flashings and all that to make sure you safely can have a living quarters and a big, large shop. So questions. We got a lot of questions, I'm sure, because I just blew through all this. So.
Okay. Start at chillaxing. Right there.
Well, the finish warranty on metal panels, the manufacturer warranties are high, like 50 plus years on most of this stuff. So it's not, I'm realistically, what can you expect, 20, 30 years out of this? It is what it is. It's way beyond anything else. I can promise you that. Because now, if you're on the coast, there may be different types of products that you're interested in. So because of salt water and all this, I can't speak to those territories, but in our area, this stuff can last for way longer than most people care. Let me say that. Insurance, is insurance cheaper than wood-built house? I think there are some instances where it can be because insurance companies like the fact that people have metal roofs. So
they usually give a discount for the.
There is usually a roof discount on a metal.
I filled out a few papers for insurance. I don't recall any particular construction loan using a USDA fund.
Ask the question.
I'm sorry. Well, you have it posted on
Have you had a customer build using USDA financing?
Not that I recall. Not that it can't be done. I just don't know that it's been a need for that just yet. I haven't ran into that I'm aware of.
Yeah,
I would imagine it's the same.
I'm not an expert on USDA financing, but all financing is good. Rod's DIY, the building science guys like Matt Reisinger are about air tightness. He's an advocate for a perfect wall and monopoly framing. Do you do blower tests, and if so, what are the results? Well, thank you, Rod. I like Matt Reisinger and all of these systems and the framing, monopoly framing, all this stuff is really cool. And anytime we can incorporate something that Matt Reisinger is doing is pretty cool too. We use his Zip System 2.0 and some of these things. And I was actually on one of his projects last week. So, and we got some video work that's coming out on our channel for this mass timber stuff, which is just an interest. I mean, it's pretty cool stuff there. So a great guy to follow if you're looking for answers on air tightness, if you're looking for answers on any kind of product, really. I mean, he's got it. He's covering a lot of territory. But what I'll say is a blower door test has not in the past been like a standard thing that we do. We have done them. And the last one we did was on our North Lake Barndominium in June. The hottest time of the year, but regardless of the heat, that really had nothing to do with the blower door test. We had a 1.03, I think was the score, I want to say, on the ACH, which is the air changes per hour. So that's what we're achieving with our standard efforts. And code requirements are, I think, 4 or 5 in these climates. So well under the requirements, let's put it that way, about 4 times probably under the requirements on that. So we feel very confident about that and in the whole way that we're building with our air tightness and the envelope. Now, if I could just get engineering to tell me that what we're rated for as far as 140 miles per hour versus what, that's really the kind of information I'm hunting. And we're looking on the performance side to see, hey, how are our barndominiums testing out? So those are things that we're definitely interested in and we're working towards. Martina says, is it true that taxes are cheaper with a barndo? I think it can be true. That's not a myth. It's definitely one of the main reasons people started building barndominiums early on. I think there's probably things that are up against you now more so in that realm than there used to be. And so maybe we could do a live sometime talking about tips and tricks on that. I don't have a lot of that stuff prepared, ready to talk about, but that might be something that we could talk about. I think it would be I don't know if we want to put that on blast, but we'll have the tax offices would have all the tips. We have to do that in our secret group. So
tell us how we can save.
And really it pertains to your area, right? Like it's going to pertain to how your county works or how your parish or whatever you have in your territory.
Well, because barndos can be deceiving. There can be a lot of things happening inside of a barndo because you can't tell from the outside.
Right.
It, for the most part, does just look like a steel building. It could just be an open shop and no one would ever know. And you could have, a crazy, beautiful build inside one too. And
we're running out of time, but Deb asked, what are the benefits of using the Zip system?
All right, that's a Josh question.
So the Zip system is basically, there's a resin that this product has been enamored with, I guess I don't know if that's the right word, but it's that is for moisture and air protection. So it is permeable, so it's allowed to dry, but it's kind of like one of these things where instead of putting Tyvek or one of these other WRBs, it eliminates a step, and you're getting good flashing along the way. So that's kind of what you're working with now. There is tape that we use on the seams, and then there's liquid flashing that we use in various locations on joints, where you're joining to concrete and and the actual product itself at the seal and at the bottom of the walls. We take extra precautions there to seal these up. So that's part of our shell only efforts as well. All of the liquid flashing techniques that we do is involved with all that. Rod says about that mass timber project, I'm curious, how is it going to turn out? I'm glad you're involved. LVL framing, is it treated with some sort of water resistance? Seems like a pipe burst would kill it. Yes, it's different. I mean, the glues and the adhesives that they're using are different. So we are going to get into a little bit more on that end. I've got a full video coming out, so I hope you'll tune in for that as soon as we get that updated. But that is going to be on our YouTube channel for this mass timber project, where I was with Trent and the timber builder team. It is exciting. I mean, I got to be honest. It's an exciting, different thing. Everybody wants to be a part of something that's different. But Trent's just a great guy. Matt Reisinger's a great guy. And I can't say enough about how this project, how cool it is. So,
Didn't you have a short on it?
yeah, I did a short video on it. We did already, but we have a long form video coming out on our channel. So you guys stay tuned. All right, guys. Well, we're going to wrap this one up. It's right at that 147 mark. That's usually where we end. So it's our pleasure coming to you guys and giving you any questions that we can and answering all this. Sorry if we're a little bit scattered tonight, but we try to do the best we can. But we appreciate you guys and all that you're doing to help promote our channel, to help send our posts and like all of our stuff. I mean, it's welcoming, and we appreciate it a whole lot because it helps get our message out. And we're looking to promote better practices, continue to do that on our channel. You can expect at least a couple of videos, a couple of shorts on our YouTube channel weekly, as well as all of our Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, all these other social channels. Wherever you're at, we're going to be there, on Twitter, all of it. Now Threads. So
I can't keep up.
I'm everywhere. We're all on there. All right, guys, we appreciate you guys watching. I'm Josh Helm.
And I'm Brandy Helm.
We're wishing you all the best, and thanks for watching Texas Best.